Hey guys, this is Petra with Temangeshu. I have been talking to you about limiting beliefs, childhood conditioning that hinders us from achieving our destiny, from running our true purpose, and from just being who we really are created to be. The authentic us, the authentic you is what I'm talking about today. Well, today I want to take us a little further. I kind of listed to you some of the limiting beliefs that we have or we have been conditioned to. And as a way of refreshing your mind, we talked about ideas like, money doesn't grow on trees, right? And if you grew up hearing that over and over and over as a child, now you're a grown up person and you still believe that money doesn't grow on trees. Well, that's very true. It is a fact. But it conditions fear because you think you can never have enough, right? You're not content and you think you can never have enough because money is scarce. It doesn't grow on trees. And so you handle your money in a way that, like, it's just going to disappear, right? And so people who've been conditioned that way do not celebrate the gift of abundance. They don't celebrate. They don't get time to celebrate the gift of abundance, the gift of overflow. Because I believe that you can have money and it can overflow because we are meant to be a blessing to others. So if I cannot have enough to bless myself, how else am I going to be able to be a blessing to others? So I must have an overflow. I believe in an overflow. I believe in abundance because I know that that is His promise, the promise of God to me. And so, allow me today introduce you to a new topic. It's not so new. It's a follow up from our previous discussion of limiting beliefs. Today, I want to talk about empowering your self-talk. You know, affirmative language. How do you adopt affirmative language? How do you adapt to that? Because we are today surrounded with so much that is going around, too much negativity. When you turn on the news, it's negative, negative, negative. I was just reading this morning a guy who was shot dead in Texas, some part of Texas, 2 days ago, I think. And the situation was really sad. Like, he just went into the scene to help somebody who needed help. There was a fight that broke up, so he went in to help and he gets killed by the cop in a situation like that. That is the kind of news that we are surrounded with in our world today, especially in America. So how do you empower yourself affirmatively? How do you empower your self-talk so that what is happening around there does not consume you? It does not possess you. It does not become part of you. We are in this world, but we are not supposed to be too obsessed that our lives become basically hopeless. That, we stop dreaming of the big picture of what the world has to offer. I again believe that there's a seed of greatness inside each one of us. And until you reach such a moment when you begin to tell yourself, I am more than enough, I have what it takes, then you begin to shut your ears from what's going on around there. Not completely that you are completely unaware of what's going on around. Yeah, you're aware, but it doesn't obsess you. You're not obsessed with it. You can still carry on very productively with your life. And that starts with affirmative self-talk, affirmative language, and empowering self-talk. Instead of a limiting belief, now we're going to bring in an empowering language. And so it's no secret, though, that things we tell ourselves tend to create reality in our world. Because you tell yourself that too much until you start becoming it, right? And so if it's not something you desire to see, if it's not a desired result that you want to see, then change the talk. Change the talk. Begin to talk things that are more positive, things that you want to see. And trust me, it will begin to manifest. This self-talk is both internal and external. What we tell ourselves about our past, about our present, about our future, it impacts our motivation because of our beliefs that this can affect how we view our capabilities, what's possible for us, and whether we feel we're worthy to have what we want or not. If we monitor our self-talk as well as how we talk about ourselves to others, trust me, we can be aware of our beliefs that can be limiting and get rid of it. So today, let's dive into how to bust out of these limiting beliefs and begin to empower ourselves. All right? So the trick to be able to catch yourself, for instance, would be in a conversation with yourself or even with others and turn it around. I believe it's just a thought that keeps you thinking, and so we replace it with another, more empowering and a motivating thought. Every time we catch ourselves, eventually our belief will change as well. Think of it like a game, right? So, watching for opportunities to replace any negative belief with this new idea. What language is empowering to you? You define that for yourself. Find it, use it. If you have to keep telling yourself, I am enough. I have what it takes. I am more than a conqueror. Tell it to yourself. Get it in your head. Get it in your soul. Believe it and begin to live it and move with it. Every single day, you remind yourself of that, right? And so, one researcher said that he had dedicated his life to studying witchcraft, right? Like voodoo and any form of curses that people placed on others. He talked about how he had observed that if a person told another person that they were going to die in a couple of months, all of a sudden the person's behaviors actually changed until they actually created it. In other words, they died. Because they believed that the words of the witch or the voodoos or the Buddhist or whatever that's called was so powerful that it began to dominate them. It dominated them to the extent to where they couldn't fight it anymore and they succumbed to it. So my word to you today is, what are you succumbing to? What is dominating your life? What is your self-talk? What are you telling yourself? You see, we talk to ourselves more than we talk to anybody else on this earth. That is a given. You are talking to yourself constantly. So check what you're telling yourself and begin to turn that around for your own good. Yes, begin to turn it around. Switch those words. The power of belief can also be seen in a book, like for instance, a book called A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. The book is described as the experience of a psychologist who was in a concentration camp, and his observation of the fact that a person's belief system about being in that camp determined how long the person could survive. He noticed that when a person lost hope, they would quickly decay, but that a person with a great attitude could survive and thrive in these conditions. We've heard testimonies similar to that over and over of people surviving under very hard circumstances. There was another story, I don't remember the details, and you forgive me, but you probably remember, of these guys who were trapped underneath the earth, the miners or something like that. And the people who survived, they resorted to doing meditation. They did meditation and they were thinking about good things and they were empowering themselves with good thoughts. They were seeing themselves out of that cave, even though it was taking days and it seemed like it was getting more bleak. But their belief in the idea of getting out, the visualization of life outside that cave, kept them alive until they won the battle. They overcame the situation, they were found, and they were rescued. So by choosing your words, internal, external, and belief system, you can really be your own powerful motivator. And so you may be wondering, right? How would you actually change those beliefs that cause you to have the negative thoughts and self-talk? Okay, just shoot me an email at contact@petraotei.com. Or you can go to my website and subscribe to some of these courses that I'm offering right now. Most of them are for free or for major discounts. Just subscribe and let's talk destiny. Let's talk purpose.